Hi guys, in this video I'm going to go through a few security use cases and just show you the power of ExtraHop and how you can search the data and what are some things that you can look out for. So the first one talks about DNS. So if I want to specifically look for DNS requests going out to certain places around the world. So if I'm interested in, let's say, anything that goes to Russia, so I'm going to search for .ru in the global search, and that's going to take me right to my records, and I'm going to see here that it's searching for that string .ru in all the data set. So I'm interested in any DNS requests that went out to Russia. That's why I'm going to filter my record type to DNS requests, and right away it gives you the records for that. So you know which client IP went out to which server, and it's funny, this one actually went to directly to a Google DNS server and didn't go to your local DNS servers in your environment. So that's definitely something that's a red flag right there. And it gives you the actual query name. So what was this client looking for? It was looking for this actual query in Russia. Now sometimes in an environment this could be legit, somebody just looking up a Russian website, but in some other cases it could be malware, phoning home. So keeping an eye on these kind of things is pretty important. So you can do the same for any other extension here. The next one I want to talk about is looking at anybody going out to non-local DNS servers in your environment. So as an example, if anybody's going to Google's DNS servers, you want to know about that. So here I filtered on 8.8.4.4, which is one of Google's DNS servers. And once again, you click on DNS requests, and now you have the complete list of all DNS requests that went out to this IP for Google's DNS. You have all the query names, and you've got all the clients that came in. So you can actually group this by client IPv4 address, and there you go. So in the last 30 minutes, we've seen these two clients go directly to Google's DNS servers and bypass your local DNS servers in your environment. So something to note and take note of. So with this kind of visibility, you know exactly what's happening in your environment, and you can take some action. The next one is actually a security/network use case. So I'm going to go back and create a new query. And from here, I'm going to go and filter for any big flows in the environment. So I'm going to go and look for bytes that exceed 100 megabytes. So more than or equal 100 megabytes. I want to know about that. So that's going to filter the results here very shortly. And we found 19 records. I'm going to filter on the record type for flows. And this gives you all the records that we've seen for more than 100 megabytes of flows. You can filter this, you can sort this by the largest flows. So this one is about 1.5 gigs. And I'm going to add the flow unique identifier here. And I'm interested in looking at this big flow. Well, what's it for? I see the sender port is 445, so it seems to be CIFS. But I'm going to filter on this flow, and I'm going to remove all my other filters. So remove this and remove the record type for flow. And sure enough, there you go. So we've seen 27,618 records for CIFS going over this flow. So filtering on CIFS, you now get the complete list of transactions or records that have occurred over this flow that is about 1.5 gigabytes of traffic. And you can see when in time this has occurred. And you can also group this by resources to figure out, well, what file names have been pulled during this time over this flow. that contributed to this 1.5 gigabytes worth of traffic. And as you can see here, these are the file names. So somebody's downloading, well, this user is downloading their summer pictures, Christmas pictures, and Halloween, and so on. So with that, you can quickly pivot from layer 4 for the flows, knowing how big the flow you're looking for is, into layer 7 to figure out what's flowing over that. The last one I want to talk about here is a security use case for databases. So if you want to know who has privileged accessing your databases, you can do a search for SA. So basically looking for anybody using a system admin credential, and filtering on database, you'll find, we found 1,736 records in the last 30 minutes for users using the system admin credentials you can see here. So you have the complete list. So from the methods we see 1637 logins and 99 sets. And from the errors we see 1637 login failed errors. So we see some records that have login failures, and we see records that actually did something in the database. So we can group this by client IPv4 address, and it gives you the list of all the client IPs that came in with that credential accessing your database. Now, in this mock-up scenario, you have a public IP address going in and talking to the database. Of course, if you see this raises eyebrows, red flags go flying everywhere. So, but you have this data, you know what's going on, coming in from a public IP and coming in from a private IP. Now, to investigate further, see what this guy did, you can filter on this IP address, and now you for sure know that this IP address, the public IP address coming in, hit 1637 records, and they all failed to log in. So that's good. You know that that user has not, or that client has not been able to access the database, but right away you want to be able to block this IP on the firewall. Whereas if we go back and look at the other user that had showed up and filter on him, you see that the method they used was set. It seems to be a batch job running for this JBoss database. But now you know whether somebody has exfiltrated your database using system admin credentials, if they actually were able to go in. If they did go in, what kind of records they accessed, and what did they do on the database. So hopefully this video has been helpful to give you an idea of what you can search for and what you can look for, and I hope this has been helpful, and thank you for watching.